go. We're live. Getting ready for the show. Getting ready for the show. Getting ready for the movie crap live program with the theme song. Got it going on. Maybe make a new one someday. And yes, hello, welcome to Movie Crap Live. I see Austin, the Rocket, Lomax, Sinram, Jordan Salafalo, Cornbread. I see the crew. I should send out the fucking tweet. We got this going. Chan Talks Movies, Nathaniel Foga, Javier Partello, Pup. We are all, and you can hear me shuffling around. I'm sorry about that. But I'm glad you can hear me. This is Movie Crap Live. It is Thursday night. We're doing it on Thursday again. And yeah, let's just switch over to the main, the TikTok. It should be on there. Should have sent. Let's switch over to the main camera. This is a boink. Hello, welcome to Movie Crap Live this Thursday. I'm wearing a Reptar t-shirt because we had a movie night tonight. We watched Godzilla Mothra from the 60s. Hello, Ramsey the Artist. Hello, Purple Goop. And I thought, why not wear the Reptar t-shirt? You know what I'm saying? Let's move this camera down one bit. Okay, I like that a little better. But yeah, I don't think a lot of people have Reptar t-shirts. Gotta represent. But yes. Yeah, it just sort of works out. Sorry it's all over the place. I think next week, I say every week, next week will be a Wednesday, but I'm fingers crossed. I kind of pick the day that works out best for my family, to be perfectly honest. But the baked goods business, I don't know. Anyway, we have a pretty jam-packed show. In fact, I'm going to say this right now. We are probably going to go, the length of this show, especially if you're watching later, will be longer. I will get into that in a second. Let me talk about anything. But yes, why is Spider-Man? I don't know, actually. I think as the kids grab this Spider-Man a lot, and so he actually gets played with quite frequently. So for content, sorry it's 2 shorts in a row there. It just sort of works out that way. I'm not going to do anything more of Knuckles. I've gotten a few requests about that. I'm a little confused by the baked goods thing, but whatever. Yeah, I'm not going to do anything more Knuckles, although I should have mentioned the CD thing in the intro. I really like, and I think it's the 4th episode. It's directed by Yorma from Lonely Island. It has one of the guys from Mighty Boosh. That one's kind of fun. But other than that, I don't, it's like a fun kid show. I don't know. When we were watching it, my wife was like, oh, I guess like people your age like. I'm like, actually they don't. Despite it trying to appeal to us all the time with the music and the references, but whatever. Yes, I got this at a MomoCon, and they were holding this and the other Godzilla, which is behind there on my toy, with the toys. But yeah, we watched, and it wasn't a good DVD because I have to get an English job because obviously they can't do subs. But it's not, I don't know. The DVD is kind of crappy. I'm a little embarrassed about the quality of it. But the how old the DVD is, when I went into special features after we watch it, you could get a GameCube code in the DVD. So there you go. Yes. Also, nobody guessed the energy drink. However, when someone, oh my God, okay. I hope your dog's okay, Super Dusky. No one has guessed the energy drink, but I will reveal it when there's a super chat. But it's a different one. I don't know if anyone. I think my clue when I reveal it will make sense. Other than that, I'm working on a Godzilla Kong review of me and Sophie. I just kind of, I don't know what game. I should have looked that up anyway. it's just taking a bit because I keep going back and forth on it, which is good. I'm kind of glad I have the shorts because otherwise you'd be like, what happened to Jim for like a week? So I'm kind of glad this channel is more like in the old days when I just did reviews and stuff. It was different. Now it's like I can put stuff out and give out other thoughts, and I like that about this current timeline of YouTube. But yeah, the People's Joker review came out, and I think, yeah, and the Space Ghost thing and all that. And sure, and I have messed up there. I have 2 segments. One is the digital circus thing, and the other is the actual Lost Pilot, the Jonah Vasquez, what's it called? Open house thing. Whatever it's called. We'll scroll down to that when we get to there. But because the actual pilot that I talked about before for a Very Important House came out during the leak, I thought it'd be cool to actually review the pilot, which I mentioned before. So those were cool. Trying to think if there's any. I'm sure there is. I watched Under the Bridge. That's a cool show. I watched X-Men. I watched a bunch of stuff I can't get into. I don't know. We'll see. I should probably get into it. Let's get into the throwbacks and we'll start this whole thing. First was The Guest. I did The Guest because, hello, Jordan. How's it going? Thank you for being here, at least, Jordan. That's very nice of you. For the throwbacks, I had The Guest because Adam Wingard directed Godzilla Kong, and Dan Stevens is in 2 films that are presently out. So I thought, Abigail and Godzilla Kong. So I thought, might as well do The Guest. And then I heard, I'll just say this news now because it's prevalent, that they're actually, Adam Wingard and the writer of The Guest are reuniting for a new film that just got bought by A24, which many people feel is going to delay the next MonsterVerse film, or at least the next Godzilla Kong movie, for at least a year or so. So, I mean, I'm excited because I like The Guest. I'm not as big into Your Next, but I like that they work together, so I hope that works out into something. But anyway, it was cool sharing that. But the other one that comes out tomorrow, this is a funny story. So, Phantom Menace comes out in theaters this week, and I thought it'd be cool. In my head, I was like, I never did I did a review, but I never did a video like, what was it like to be at the Phantom Menace at 12:01, to wait in that line. You waited in line for tickets, you waited in line for your seats, like that experience of seeing it in 99. Like, I can tell everyone what it was like waiting in the line. I can tell people what I was thinking. I can tell people like the experience of seeing it, in the Senator in this great way, and then I see it later at the crappy theater, and this whole story. And then like I was like, well, I should rewatch Phantom Menace. I'm gonna make this. I was like, but I should rewatch my old Phantom Menace review because there's probably stuff in there. You know what I mean? And then I watch it, and then I'm sitting there, and this is from 2012. It was when the last Phantom Menace re-release, when it was in 3D, right before Disney bought, like the same year Disney bought Lucasfilm, but like months before. Because they were going to re-release all the 6 episodes at that time as 3D movies. And I'm watching it, and it's literally note by note everything I was going to do in this video I was imagining. So, because it's not really a review. It's just me talking about my experience of living through the Phantom Menace thing. And it was, it was kind of, I was like, wow, I feel really stupid that I almost remade the same video unintentionally. I think maybe I would have made a better video now, but I was like, I don't really, I repeat myself on here. It's a 2-hour show, but to repeat the same video to that degree, I was like, no, I'm not doing that. So anyway, there is an actual part I didn't put in there. So there is going to be 3 segments actually tonight. And this other segment will never be a separate video because there's no way to market it without me looking like I'm Geeks and Gamers and something, which is completely unintentional. Like it comes around, it works, but like there's no way I could market it. So this is just, it'll be deep in the stream. So at least I know y'all are cool. By that point, you're at least okay with watching that much content. And hopefully I don't regret doing that. But yeah. Oh, I didn't know that about the Lonely Guys. Okay. Oh, Sidram says, I was finishing the novel 1984 when episode 1 came out, so I was imagining the three main characters as Neeson, McGregor, and Portman. That's interesting. That's interesting. Huh. You know what? Actually, my memories of it. Well, okay. So, first off, cheers to you. So, what this is. Sorry, let me get my monitor here. Sorry. This is called Key. I said the clue was it opens doors. I just found it's like, I don't know how obscure this was. It's ginger lime. It's supposed to have long lasting caffeine. Long lasting energy drink from ketones? Ketones? I don't know. Anyway. Okay. I'll take a cheers to you, Syndrome. I like your version of 1984. That's interesting. There's a 1984 podcast right now, and anytime they have ads on the new subway thing, the new subway with video screens and stuff, it actually looks really cool. But that's an interesting. I'd be curious to see that. I think McGregor could play a good whoever the main guy is. Oh, but sorry, with McGregor, I remember right before Phantom Menace came out, we were watching Velvet Goldmine, and my friend was like, "Is that Obi-Wan?" I was like, "Yeah." He was like, "Whoa, dude! I just saw Obi-Wan's dick." Anyway, sorry, I remember that. Thank you, Sidram. But yeah, so tomorrow that will be up, and you can literally watch this video that I was literally like planning out in my head and like thinking of the thoughts, and pretty much everything except for this one part is in there, which is embarrassing on my part. But I'm glad I didn't rewatch Phantom Menace, because that is other than Pod Race and Darth Maul, is not a good movie. I don't fucking care. I'm not revising like maybe it fucking prequels. I don't know. I would never really want to review Phantom Menace because like what's the point at this point? Like maybe if it's been like, if I'm still doing it and it's like 50 years or something, maybe, but I'm also a little like, after Red Letter Media and so many people complain and all that stuff, it's sort of like, what's the point? I'd much rather hear about what happened when it came out than hear about the movie itself, because it's sort of like, I don't know, what are you going to say about it? You know, it's not great, and they shouldn't have killed Darth Maul. I think that's pretty much all you got to say. Anyway, there is a lot to get to. There's a lot of news. I think the break might be a little earlier. I could see this will go later because of a third segment. I'm being very ambitious tonight, but let's see. I don't know if we'll get, oh man, I remember the band Placebo. We'll see how much of this stuff we get to, but we might do the break around 11:30, 11:45, something like that. So, if you're naming all the racer from Pod Racer, like Archie Bump Roast, Ben Quiznos, and Rats Thorell. Wow. You know, I will say I had the Pod Race game for. Thank you. Wait, where'd we go? Oh, I'm still down there. Cheers to you, Austin. Okay. I'm feeling this, Key. It's giving me a minute. I had the game for my PC. Like, we didn't have a system then, and I love that game. And I do think the thing is about that is, like, Lucas is still he understood to have good sequences. And if you hear about one of his things for filmmaking or how he made Star Wars, like, he understands to, like, put in the good sequences can, like, level out the movie. And I think he only really had two. But I also will say Darth Maul, and this will be my last film, and then we'll move on. Okay. I don't see. I need to do maybe the older thing with Nintendo Switch. We just play. We're playing Mario. I'm playing Mario Wonder more because I realize Sophie isn't as good at the new side-scrolling games like Mario games, because we played Peach and Target and she didn't have she was a little confused. So I think I gotta master Mario Wonder and teach her more of that. But right now we just play Mario Kart. But yeah, even I don't know, people who are like, fuck Phantom Menace, were still like, but Darth Maul. Like, that was, I still do not understand what he was thinking. Because Darth Maul is like such a Limp Bizkit-y, like 99 new metal kind of character, but like everybody liked that guy. Like everybody liked that guy. Like no one was people. I remember when episode 2 came out. I remember kids at my school were like, "Where the fuck is Darth Maul?" And they didn't even listen to Korn anymore. Like that shit was over. But people really like. I think that was maybe one of the biggest character mistakes of that. Because anytime someone writes their own prequel things, I notice Darth Maul is not killed off because. Anyway, sorry, I like Darth Maul. Kevin James would throw away his own pee bottle. We'll get to that. Yeah, he would. Yeah, after his, I love that one where he says "Hey" and he's anyway. Cheers to you, Black Sea Axel. I always like the Kevin James super chat for Black Sea every show. All right, anyway. This and everything I do is supported by you, the fans. Hello, NatBox64. Either through super chats during the show or through my Patreon, which has a lot of cool stuff. The postcards just went out. I'm doing a DVD giveaway. If you are a patron and you have, in fact, your patronage has gone through, let's say it that way, you can be entered in the DVD giveaway. I'm giving away DVDs as I'm slowing down my collection. I'm giving away some of these DVDs, and I'm going to be giving away 3 this month, and there's going to be 2 other giveaways throughout the summer. So if you want to have some of the DVDs I used to have, or Blu-rays, then being a patron is a great way. You do not, it's all tiers. I'll get into the rules in my movie review vote winners video later, as well as all sorts of exclusive content, the commentary series, which I hope will start up again soon, and all sorts of cool stuff. And you get emails when my videos come out, and it helps support the show, helps me be able to, pay the bills in general, keep things with the channel going, help publicize the channel, help me get into film festivals. It helps me spread the word and really support the channel. I know a lot of people say that kind of thing, but I really do put the money forward in buying new tech, taking care of my family. My brother's going to have a baby soon. I'd like to visit him in November. Things like that. That's kind of... Anyway, sorry. That's lame, but I'm excited for him in general. Sorry, this is getting too personal. But all of those things you can help me do. Sorry, maybe that was weird. But through support if you're financially able to do so. If not, just give me a like on this video or subscribing helps out as well. Also, if you subscribe, you get to hear about the throwbacks. You get to know when I do Movie Crap Live. All sorts of cool stuff, and get notified when I have new videos and everything, all that cool stuff. But just simply watching, if you're here just watching, you're like, I don't even have an account, I just come here sometimes. Thank you for doing so. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching the show. I'm sorry I never get around sometimes to doing the timestamps, but I really appreciate you being here and any of your support, however you want to do that. Hello, a guy named Crystal. Also, you should join the Discord. It is a great community. Austin and Zane Powers run a great group. They do movie watches, or they do kind of a group watch let's say, because they do shows too, but we call it a movie watch. They do the movie watch every week. There's the licensed playing card channel. These cards, I've lost these cards so many times and they keep reappearing unintentionally, and I'm like, I guess I'm done with them, and they come back. I don't know. Maybe I might need to get rid of them. But of the licensed play card channel, all sorts of cool stuff. There's the Ask Jim channel. There's the Suggestions for Jim channel, which is a great way if you were like, hey, I'd like you to do a segment. Here's a link to it. I can go, oh, cool, I can consider it. Hello, Mika Ali, I think. All sorts of cool stuff. If you enjoy everyone in the chat and us talking back and forth, that community is there 24 hours a day on the Discord. Link is in the description down below, as well as check out my TikTok, Twitter, Tumblr, Facebook fan page, Instagram, both personal and business. Anyway, it's all there in the description. Join up if you would like to, and on those platforms. I try to be active on all those things, mostly just on Twitter, and the Tumblr is kind of neat too. And let's get into it. All right, so I don't know why I'm pointing up this show, like that's the thing I need to be doing. Anyway, so there was this article about The Rock. And I know so many people have brought up that The Rock apparently shows up sometimes 8 hours late for everything from Red Notice. He got in a fight with Ryan Reynolds. This is why there's tension on Fast and Furious set. It has ruined his film Red One, which sounds like a horrible Christmas movie that they think is going to be a franchise, but most definitely will not. But okay. Chris Evans and if Chris Evans is in a streaming movie, there's a good chance everybody's going to fall asleep to it. I am so excited to fall asleep to this shit. Amazing. The Rock is really good at, like, I've done a lot of dishes. It's a holiday. I probably had a little too much to drink at that point, and I can pass out on the couch and wake up, and I'll be like, I'll watch it later, and then I'll try, and I'll fall asleep again, and then I won't watch it again. But he's really good at making those. Him and Zack Snyder. You guys are geniuses. Anyway, sorry. Nathaniel Fucking says, speaking of Darth Maul, I recently got to meet Ray Park. Awesome. I love Ray Park, actually, at a con I went to, and I got to give him a sample of mine and my mom's season. Oh, cool. If I see you again, Nathaniel Fucking, I would be into that also. But that is cool. Okay. I know Ray Park, but he choreographed most of that. Didn't he? Maybe I'm wrong about that, but he's a very talented martial artist, even what he did in the second Ghost G.I. Joe. Never mind. Cheers to you, Nathaniel Fucking. But he is constantly late. The Rock, not Nathaniel Fucking. The Rock. Nathaniel Fucking is always on time. Any employer is watching. Sorry, I'll stop. Okay. The Rock is always late. Sometimes he showed up so late on the set of Ballers, somebody actually got health insurance, they said, because he was so late so often, like the hours added up that much. He's constantly late, constantly delaying things, put tons of costs onto Red One. And that seems to be the main thing. Like, this is chipping away at The Rock's reputation, all that stuff. But let's be real. This is the Rock has a PP bottle article. And so let's really talk about that. Because, so apparently The Rock has two bottles. He has a water bottle with water in it. Traditionally, that's what's in water bottles. And he has another bottle, I think it's Avion or something, a specifically labeled bottle for his pee. Now, when I heard this story, I thought the thing that I think we're all thinking. Why would you need a system to have a bottle that you pee in? And we all know why that is. Because at some point, he had two bottles, and The Rock drank his own pee. I think we all know that happened. And how I think it happened is that he did it too often on purpose, and that's why Vin Diesel hates him, because his breath smelled like pee-pee, and that was gross. And Vin Diesel's like, I literally, please just digitally put me next to you, because like it fucking smells like pee. Like, please stop drinking your own pee. I know you say it's by accident, but it's like happened too many times where I'm like, not even sure. Like, you definitely enjoy this at this point, right? And he's like, no, I don't want to. And then he does it. He goes, I did it again. I drank my own pee. So what I'm saying is there's a high possibility that The Rock is drinking his own pee several times. And why he's been kicked off the fact that he has a system to not drink his pee. Basically, he has a system like, this bottle is for pee and this is for water. Why would you need that system? Because you've accidentally drank your pee multiple times. Look, these are all allegations. And I'm not saying, like, if I was in that situation and, like, you know, you're in a projection booth and you can't leave and you really have to pee, and then you pee in this cup and you're like, that was my drinking cup previously, and then you're thirsty and you're just like, I don't want to do that ever in my life. So you don't. But then you're thirsty and you're just sitting there and you have to wait for the thing to end, and you realize how stupid you were and you should have never done that. But anyway, I'm just saying hypothetically. But The Rock had a system because he definitely drank his own pee, is what I'm saying. Now, if we look at his filmography, I definitely think it's a Fast and Furious. Now, I mean, Southland Tales, I think he was still real then, and he wouldn't have drank his own pee, obviously. Like, come on, let's be real here. But I'm thinking the pee incident really happened in Fast and Furious 7, and even Paul Walker was like, Jesus, dude, like, what? Because Paul Walker was alive during part of it. I'm not being horrible. Or maybe it was his cameo in Gem and the Holograms. Now I'm looking at his filmography, which I forgot about. Or was it on Rampage? Maybe that's why he wore the same outfit, because he drank too much pee and he was confused. I don't know, but it definitely happened. The Rock drank his own pee. This is the world we live in now, guys. Him being late, I don't work with him. It sounds like he missed. I think people are like, that's like missing an entire shift and showing up for work, which it is. But like, look, I'm not saying I'm a perfect person. I'm not saying I'm a good or great person. Have I ever drank my own pee? No. Has The Rock? Definitely. So, I think we can all agree. I don't know about everyone in the chat. I'm assuming none of you have. But I'm just saying that is one thing we have on The Rock. If you're ever like, man, I wish I was better than The Rock in some way, it's that you have not had to make a system so you don't accidentally drink your own pee. Now, does it actually save time? No. In fact, I met people who are like super working. I was like, no, it doesn't. Because at a certain point, you're like, this is fucking disgusting. But the fact that he has a system, and then he makes people empty it. But then it's like, why won't you just walk? Like, there's definitely bathrooms. I just don't understand why he thinks. And like, does everyone see him pee? I just. He definitely drank pee, didn't he? How many times? That's what I want to know. I don't care about the lateness. Just I want him to confirm how many times. It's okay. It's okay. I get it. I honestly think he needs to like just go to the bathroom. It's like, because then you're on set and you either see him peeing, which is gross, or you hear him peeing. Like, no matter how much time this saves, the amount of like that everyone's like, dude, The Rock is fucking gross. Like, can you imagine? You're like, oh, it's The Rock. Oh, he's peeing in a bottle. I'm like right here. What the fuck? Like, you know, it's like in the bathroom. It's like, that's the bathroom. You can pee next to pee. That's fine. But like, can you imagine? You're like, I finally get to be in a movie with The Rock, and he either has pee breath or he's gonna pee right in front of you, right there, out of nowhere, to save time. Apparently. Like, how much is he drinking? Like, so many questions. But what I'm saying is there's definitely been a time where he has pee breath. We cannot deny this. We cannot deny that The Rock has had pee breath and Vin Diesel was right. Does Vin Diesel... Look, I'm going to say this about Vin Diesel. Of all the allegations against him, no one has ever accused him of having pee breath. So, just saying, no one has said... Anybody else from Fast and Furious has had pee breath. Even Tyrese. I'm just saying. Anyway, these are all alleged things. I know The Rock could destroy me, but would he smell really bad doing it? Apparently. Jesus. Anyway, moving on. Why would a rock need to pee? Good one, Austin. All right. Maybe he was trying to cure his baldness. Maybe it's the piss that made him ruin Shazam 2. Oh my god. I'm loving this. The fact that he showed it in his stupid and just went, yeah, I pissed in a bottle too. So what? Wait, he did? He admitted to this? Why would you admit to that? What are the effects, long-term effects of drinking your own pee? Maybe that's why The Rock is the way he is now. You know what? I'm coming around that, like, it's not steroids. What if he found out that if you drink your own pee, you get muscles? Anyway, I'm going to move away from this because it's starting me to think maybe that's why The Rock never ages. But then if he's just... Anyway, you know what? We're going to stop doing this. This is getting weird. All right. So the Mufasa trailer. The trailer for the prequel, Godfather 2 riff on the Lion King live action movie came out. It's directed by Barry Jenkins. It's coming out this Christmas. Here's the thing. This looks like fucking garbage like all Disney live action remakes are. I know most people go, oh, I hate Marvel movies and the superhero, and like, that's good for you. I am like that about Disney live action remakes because like, I still, and please comment on this if you disagree. Like, I want to know something. Can you name anything that is like in the culture currently, like a meme or a line of dialogue from any of these remakes that is quotable or is remembered past its time of release? Because I can't think of fucking anything. Like, it is just such a like black hole of like Disney money and bullshit. And then Barry Jenkins, well, I get, you're right, it's not live action. Right? It isn't live action. But Barry Jenkins was like, I wouldn't make a soulless Disney live action movie. I'm like, dude, you made a Disney live action movie. It's like, I'm going to see it because it's him. And I guess I hate myself enough to see a Disney live action remake sequel, which even saying that, I don't like myself for saying that even. But it's just like, his defense is like, I'm too talented to do something like that. I'm like, I'm sure you are, dude, but you're not too talented to not cash that check. It's like, that has nothing to do with talent. It's just, I don't really get it. So I hope, I will see it. And of all the directors who've been picked for these, Barry Jenkins is the one that like most made me go, I'm at least interested, but I like to see like how the corporate machine would ruin Barry Jenkins. I actually have always thought Barry Jenkins should do a Batman movie. I don't think that was like my dream for Barry Jenkins is like he does a Batman movie. But I just, to me, it's like, don't get on your high horse about it. And I hate when people go, "The Lion King's great. It exposes kids to Shakespeare." I'm like, it's not like, okay, like let's like calm it down a bit about that. It's like it's a little Hamlet. But, like, Nala is not, like, driven insane like Ophelia. Like, it's just, like, not even... It's like, yes, it is influenced by Hamlet, but that's like saying, like, I'm into Nirvana, so I'm practically exposed to the Pixies. It's, like, not... It's not the same thing. It's just... It's a little stupid. I do not get... I just don't... Anyway, I think it was a dumb move for him. I think he should have just taken the L and cashed the check. I think he thinks this will be good. I'm assuming, like, I know people in Hollywood believe, like, the Jungle Book is good, the remake, which it's not. I'm here to tell you. It's a bad movie, and it misunderstands a lot about both that story and the original Disney film. But I just am like, I don't know why he would defend. I sort of lost respect for him thinking he can defend himself and not go like look at like even the one like Little Mermaid, like I liked certain like Halle Bailey. I thought bringing her up was cool, but like still it has like the scuttlebutt. Like it's like these never get like that good. They just get good enough that Disney's like, oh, that was better than re-releasing it. It's not. Just re-release them. Like, don't bring up the Shakespeare thing. I don't want to hear about Kimba the White Lion. I honestly don't fucking care. But you know what the hilarious thing about The Lion King of all these is? The intro to The Lion King, I mentioned this in my review at the time, is shot and edited like an action sequence of the era. And so, like, in particular, like, when Rafiki is holding up Simba, and you see, like, it's cutting, like, to all these different cameras, that's how they would do big explosions at the time, is they would have like several cameras set up to capture the explosion. They'd like, so you could cut to them and be more dynamic. And they do that in that sequence. And so there's a lot of parts of The Lion King that actually owe itself to live action movies of the time, which I noticed they did not bring over to when they actually made it live action. So not only is it a huge L, it's just like, it's such a failure of understanding the basic schematics of The Lion King. And by the way, all I did was read like an art of book and watch a documentary. And like when I see The Lion King live action remake, it has none of that fucking shit in it. It's like, they're just like, I don't know, I'm just like reimagining my own thing. But like, anyone can reimagine bullshit. It doesn't mean you're good. Like, it's just like, I really hate all of those movies. Pete's Dragon is good. Speed Racer is good. Everybody else who's tried to remake live action is just like a complete idiot. And like it's just like they all fail because they don't care about animation. I'll give Barry Jenkins credit. I will see his movie. I'm excited for this, but I'm just like, I will never like this shit. Like, it's just it's I've seen through all of them. I will see this one. I avoid some of them for my own mental health, but sorry, I shouldn't. People don't like it when I say L or mid. I've noticed, like, that's the young people. I have been called out for that before, but uh, this is a disaster. Like this whole artistic movement, this whole corporate thing is such a disaster, and I wish Barry Jenkins doesn't just whatever. Barry Jenkins, just like collect your check and make a different thing after this. You don't need to. You don't need to defend Mufasa unless maybe that was in his contract. Anyway, all right. So Velma season 2 came out. I've never watched any of this because why would I? Maybe I should have or something. I made a short. It's like Velma came out, but Mr. Incorporated is the best. Ha ha ho ho. Velma's whatever. I heard that there was an announcement for a season 3 that then got taken down on Twitter right away. So I don't think it. I don't know. But I keep seeing people post that this is actually more about people saying Velma is number 6 on TV on Max. The thing about that with Max is I was in that comment section or reply. That was an interesting reply. Like Movie Bob was there. I was like, wow, what's going on? And I saw people tweeting about my reply because I said Lin-Manuel wouldn't make another musical because he's like too Obama era. And people were like, well, that's ridiculous. Why would you say Hamilton's Obama era? I'm like, well, I mean, he did like do the first tryout at the White House in front of Obama. And he is sort of that ilk. And anyway, people were like not happy about that. But he also hasn't made one. Anyway, so, but Velma, so yeah, this top 10, people kept posting Max, it's not the top 10. My thing with any streaming top 10, and I've said this before, but I will say it again, because I don't understand. Like, I know various movie things post, like, this is number 7 on Netflix or whatever the fuck. And they do it, and it's like, I understand, like, that gets views, and, like, I get that, and you want people to be excited and stuff, but like none of this can be independently verified, which box office numbers actually are. Hollywood Reporter and places call like the biggest theaters in the country and say, oh, is this what is your, like, they do actually try to verify them to a certain degree. TV ratings, like Nielsen verifies, like there's certain verification processes to those numbers. There isn't for streaming, those streaming top 10s. That streaming number Nielsen comes out with is a little better, but it's not 100%. The streaming numbers are sort of hidden behind a glass wall. Hello, Medela Butterfly. How's it going? So anytime you see anyone go, this is number whatever, I guess it's doing well, like that's no indication of that. When the numbers come out later, sure. But like, from my understanding, it's mostly marketing. Maybe there's some truth to it, but there's no way to verify it. So to me, that's just a marketing thing, honestly. I wish none of them had them, but Netflix started it, and then places just started taking it seriously. Even though they all knew at the beginning, they would report, like, there's no way to verify this. They will not let us verify it. They will not let us check, which to me is, anyway. It's like a whole thing, but I don't know. I've heard people reply to me when I tweeted it, like I have friends who will just watch things in the Netflix top 10, which is just like showing you like how much power just having a top 10 is, because people will assume it's based on views, and there's no way to tell if it is. It's all marketing, which is odd, because a lot of people point out like some things will be talked about for a while, and then it's off the top 10 sooner than it looks like it's talked about, and there's no way to tell if that's real or not. And like if Netflix has a vested interest in one thing succeeding, one thing failing, or Max or whatever, they'll do that. But I don't, just if you ever see a top 10 thing like that, unless they do suddenly get verified and they are taking more, do let people come in, then show. Whichever. I'm gonna drink some water. Man, people did not like Movie Bob. I was just like, oh, I guess Movie Bob knows at least a little bit who I am. That's kind of, I know Movie Bob is cringe. I used to like him more. I think he, I will say I think he can be a good critic. I don't think he has been in a long time, unfortunately. I think part of it is he's always done cringy stuff, but his cringy stuff outshines any good work he does. And I feel like, I don't know, because I know other the first time I got recommended him by him was by like, I think it's like, wasn't Kermode, but it was like other critic, like actual newspaper critics, and I noticed that has just dried up for him. So anyway, I was just like, oh cool, I used to watch him more. That's kind of neat. That was my honest, like, you know, I think he follows me or something. So I was like, okay, I feel kind of neat about that. That's all. I can be like, neat. Anyway. Although, the Lindsay Ellis thing, yes, that was embarrassing. Although anyway, I don't want to get into that. So, we'll just make a quick segment on this, but Ian Jones-Cordy, I don't know if you know him, he did some panel or something, and I saw the video, and he talked about what an OKKO movie would be. Really cool action sequences, a new redesign, a wedding for Vector Man, I think, stuff like that. But was it Vector Man or whatever? I'll just say him saying there's going to be really cool action sequences. Obviously, I worked on several things with him where he animated action sequences. If he says he's going to do a cool action sequence, I have no doubt that is real. That would be true, and I don't know if that'll ever work out for him, but I hope it does. It sounded cool. Basically, I don't really have much to add to it other than like it sounds like a cool movie. Like everything, I was like, that sounds like something he could do, and would be cool. That there's no real criticism of it from what I know of his work. But anyway. Oh, he took down the video? I didn't know that. Are we talking about the Ian video? I didn't know that. Anyway. But I hope it works out. It'd be cool. Oh, hello, Jim. Oh, I forgot about that. The trailer. Anyway, sorry, you reminded me of something. Jim, I have a story for you at university. They played the movie The Reader with Kate Winslet. I was excited for the book part in the eyes. Instead, I got a sad drama. Knockforce lied to me. We didn't lie to you. We made the truth better. Huh? I think so. Anyway, cheers to you, Austin. That's very generous of you. Cheers to you. I'm sorry you had to watch 3 years. How did that get... In 2008, people were like... I like the 2008 Best Picture nominees because I looked back on it a couple months ago and I was like, so they just like I'm not the biggest Christopher Nolan guy or even Dark Knight guy, but I was like, they really just like went Frost Nixon and The Reader over The Dark Knight and Wall-E. Like that was... And Slumdog Millionaire, and like they were just ride or die for those. Is like, I don't know that. I think more people react to The Reader the way it did because they're like, so you just went with that over Wall-E and The Dark Knight, like that was like your move. Like it just seemed like such a weird. Anyway, cheers to you. That's why The Reader became such a thing for people because they're like, that's why you. That's what? Like it anyway. I think the Knockforce version of The Reader would have been a lot better. But whatever. Cheers to you. So the Disney pilot leak, which happened I guess during the show last time, basically, and I didn't really want to get into it because it seemed like too many things. But like so much shit leaked. So many pitch Bibles, so many like seeing them use like pitch Bibles for Owl House, Smarty Pants, Gravity Falls, Haley's on it, Randy Cunningham, Ninth Grade Ninja, Amphibia, Gravity Falls, Kid Knievel, 101 Dalmatian Street, the very important house trailers leaked. Sorry, I only have one link. Well, where's the other? Anyway. Lots of stuff leaked. It's now all on Internet Archive. I posted a link which I think goes to where all the trailers are. I'll probably do other reviews of the other pilots in the next movie crap. It was the sandwich one or whatever. But the thing with this is I actually think if I was Disney, I would look at this, particularly the pilots, and look at this and go, oh, I was sitting on this thing and I could have just released it and got like YouTube ad rev, or been like, here's a section on Disney Plus, here's some pilots, like this is what we paid for, and you can make some money. And I keep seeing certain ones like pop up and stuff, and like I think this is like one thing that like old, when cable was starting, they used to be like Sci-Fi Channel in particular, because there was sci-fi nerds love like old pilots of stuff that never went anywhere. They would air those sometimes, like in the 90s, pre even Mystery Science Theater getting on Sci-Fi. And I think like if I was Disney, my pivot would be, we should release more pilots and this material, because like it's been a week and I keep hearing about it from people, and to me, it's just sort of a mistake. Sorry, I realize I should have, hold on. It feels like a mistake that they didn't do this. Honestly, I think it is probably a dumb move, but no one's sure who leaked it. I'm surprised it's still up there. I think it is actually really cool that they leaked it, because like a lot of the stuff we would never see. I still don't get the very important house thing, but we'll see. I mean, there's so much stuff. I was kind of like, how can I even attempt to go through this? I'm not sure if someone's made a huge video like they went through everything. I'm only picking a few things, but I just find it a little odd that I don't know. It is kind of crazy when this stuff leaks, but it really just feels like a huge treasure trove opened up all of a sudden, and we get all this stuff. I'm just sort of zeroing in on certain aspects of it, because it's just like mind-boggling, all the material. And it's kind of shocking that it got out from Disney, who's notoriously guarded, but I do think, I don't know, it's interesting. It's interesting. I've only really watched The Very Important House. I saw, like, I scrolled around the Gravity Falls one. I looked through some pitch books. But it is overwhelming. But I will be going through that as it goes on. All right, so let's talk about, this happened today, that Paramount, now there's been a lot of talk on the Paramount front who's going to sell to them. And there's two offers. One is from Skydance Media, which I think people want a little more, to my understanding. And then there's another one that Sony Pictures and the Apollo Global Management, who's an investment firm, want to take Paramount, make it private with an all-cash buyout of $26 billion, which is not a leverage buyout, it's just a cash buyout, but it would take it private, whereas Skydance, I believe, wants to keep it on the stock market and all that stuff. Apparently, it would assume their debt and all that other stuff like that, but it's a pretty big thing. Before I get into that, guess the Disney vault isn't that highly secured. Not anymore, Nathaniel Foga. Cheers to you. I don't know what's going to happen with Paramount. I think a lot of people are saying, I can sort of see why Sony would want to, because Sony, as has been known, is what's called like basically an arms dealer, where Sony does not, I know they have Crackle, but they don't have a streaming service that is on the level of Paramount Plus or Max or even Tubi or, any of that stuff. They don't have that. And so, because they don't, them suddenly buying a streaming service would sort of make sense, because they're like, well, Paramount's already established, and we can just join up with Paramount Plus. And it's sort of, I understand why Apollo would be like, we'll just merge the two, rather than like, Sony probably doesn't want to launch a new streaming service, basically. That's a stupid idea. So that's kind of probably what's going on. We'll see if it works out more for the owner or for the shareholders, but it is going to be interesting. No one's sure if either of these will actually be considered, but I can understand doing $26 billion, because everyone could just get paid out, be done with it. But they're radically different things, but there's kind of no more to talk about. They sold Crackle. Never mind. Oh, Ramsey the Artist. Hello, Ramsey the Artist says, a bit late. Don't watch Velma, Jim. You're really not missing much. The animation was good at least, but the writing brought it down. Okay. I heard about the Scrappy-Doo thing, but I was like, yeesh, I don't know. Anyway, cheers to you, Ramsey the Artist. Cheers to you. Cheers to you. All right. So, I realize there's two Scooby-Doo news, and I have them very separated. That was not. Anyway, I'm not talking about the next, but we got Mad Max news. We heard. I didn't read this whole article, and I meant to. But we learned that during the production, the ever-long pre-production of Fury Road, they wrote. Not only did they write Fury Road and keep planning it and stuff, they also made the Furiosa script, which is what's going to come out this summer, and they, in additional, wrote what was happening to Max right before this. Now, the interesting thing about Mad Max, what I like about him, is that he's sort of like, there is continuity, but there isn't. He works more as a legend. And I would love another Mad Max film quite a bit, but I love that the production of Fury Road was so long that they started writing other movies. They're like, wow, man, I really like these characters. So I am really curious about that. Now, will it be able to live up to Fury Road or Furiosa? I think that's a hard thing, and George Miller's getting up there, and he only has too many opportunities to do so much. I mean, I think if you look at the production of Fury Road, it was probably one of the biggest productions of all time. And even Furiosa, reading about how Furiosa, the prequel, has a 15-minute action sequence that took 200 stunt people 78 days to shoot, and it's very important for understanding Anya Taylor-Joy's character. George Miller's producing partner details the epic action scenes, and apparently on the first day that Anya Taylor-Joy did stunt school, she did a J-turn on her first day of stunt school. It's because to see an accumulation of skills over the course of the battle, and it's very important for understanding how resourceful Furiosa is, but also her grit. It's the longest sequence that any of us have ever shot. On the day we finished, everyone got a Stairway to Nowhere wine. Anyway, I think a new Mad Max movie will be really cool. And sorry, I actually really like this bit. I hope I'm not annoying everyone. I'm assuming, because we'll keep getting Mad Max news, this bit will eventually die, or maybe it won't. Maybe it'll be like stop motion. Have you guys heard about this new movie? Anyway, Paul Blart, thank you. Hello. I am excited for another Mad Max film. I'm excited for Furiosa. I think George Miller is a wild kind of filmmaker, but also doesn't understand how wild he is, because if you ever say, there's a really thank you to Dana. Like, if you see an interview he did with Robert Rodriguez, like director's chair thing, he would just explain it like, you do it in the center frame, you do this, you understand filmmaking, and and Robert Rodriguez was like, I do, but I can't do that. And like, I love, and he talks to the director, he says it's so matter of fact, like, I mean, come on, you know how we do, and they're always like, George Miller, like, I do not know how you do that. Me not understand, my confused. He's a wild dude. I love him. I hope he keeps. If I like his late, every other director late in their career makes these like slower movies and doesn't care about the pace as much and wants to go through time. And George Miller is like, fuck that, bro. Let's do a 15-minute action sequence with 200x. I'm sorry, I closed the link so I can't read it. But he's like, let's get my wife involved. Let's edit the fuck out of this thing. Let's make Fast and Furious piss their fucking pants. Like, let's go crazy. I love that approach. It's fuck. And Happy Feud is wild too. I should review Happy Feud sometime. Will it be beyond Thunder? Will it be beyond Thunderdome? I think we're all beyond Thunderdome. Are we beyond? Sorry, I always get the giggles. This is like my fun time scene of the day without, anyway. Although, yeah, I don't know. It's my fun time without having to worry. Anyway, worry about nothing. All right. Moving on. Hello Zodberg. Sorry. Hello Zodberg. How's it going? All right. So Jerry Seinfeld decided. This is the section, if I actually get to do timestamps, this is the section I don't have, you'd be surprised how little I have memorized. I barely remember my name half the time. English, anyway, sorry. This is like, people say dumb shit in press interviews. I honestly believe that like press training is gone, and we get like the dumbest blurbs, but it's usually like people who are like so important the studio could never press train them, and you're just so Jerry Seinfeld's like, you couldn't do Seinfeld today because everything's woke and the leftists, And like every so my thing with this and why I kind of made a big deal, and I will also say Ian also, not to keep name dropping him, also said I don't want to be like this when I'm older, and I applaud him for. I don't think he is and hasn't been, but I applaud him for saying that because I know he isn't. But my issue with this is Norman Lear, who produced All in the Family, which came out before Seinfeld, has been producing and advising on shows because he believes there is still stuff and there is still things that are controversial. The reason in a reply I brought up Blackish is because Norman Lear, I've seen very little of Blackish. I've seen the big moments. I've seen a few episodes. I wish I had seen more. But he helped advise on that show as well. He helped advise on South Park, the season. I know it's at least the season that has the ice cream, the taco pooping ice cream or whatever. That season in 2004. He did One Life to Live, which is a great reboot sitcom. He did things and he was engaged in stuff and was trying to make like stuff despite like our woke world or whatever. Jerry Seinfeld has done jack shit other than make the stupid B movie and the Marriage Ref, which everyone forgot about, which is horrible. He just doesn't do anything, and then he comes out and like the thing like with him and Chappelle, it's like they have this fantasy that like they can't do colleges anymore because people are too woke or too PC. Like, look, I used to work. I was a student for a college, and we'd organize events. There's no way any college can afford any of these guys. Like that's just not a thing. And any comic who has a name is too expensive. So if they're going to do a comedy night, they would never call you, dude. Like I don't understand. Like anytime they say that, I'm like, well, yeah, but like, what college can afford you? Like that's just like even one with a huge football team. Like they're running off like they don't give a ton of money to those programs to have Jerry Seinfeld. Like maybe once a year they do it, but it's mainly to like get if they have a huge arena and it's like a separate kind of business thing, and then they do have them actually. So I think he doesn't understand TV. I think he doesn't understand what's going on. I wish he would shut the fuck up. And I'm sick of this. Like, even John Cleese was like, there's a Faulty Towers live show, and we can't say the things we used to say because people are too literal minded. I'm like, I agree. People are actually too literal. I agree with that. But Faulty Towers is still a classic, and you could have done all that shit because people still quote the more controversial stuff, John Cleese. Like, he's just like such a little, like, I don't know. To me, it's like, just like, if, I don't know. It's just like these guys were told no about something and have raised such a hissy fit. And it's like, just do your shit. And like, I can tell they're not really doing their shit to that degree. And they're like upset about it because like, you look at Larry David or look at like, you know what, who's an old dude who I seriously love is Willie Nelson. I like Willie Nelson. I saw on Spotify had a single come out like today or this week. And it's like, even if I don't like his songs, he's still doing what Willie Nelson wants to do and doesn't really give a shit. And it's like when you're older and you're an older creative person, and it's like obviously like once you get past a certain age, audience wise, you know, if you've been really big, you're you know, you do your shows, but artistically you can do what you want. There's certain people who are really good at that, and then there's like what Jerry Seinfeld's doing, and he is not, and he does not have a great end of his career. He basically is like, you know, he's shitty Jackie Gleason at this point. Basically, like Jackie Gleason was a complete fucking asshole, but he made The Honeymooners, and then like only cared what people in Florida thought of him on his like stage show. Like, I don't know. To me, it's like whatever. Then we have in our other thing. Maybe I should stop doing like complaining about it. I feel stupid now, but I just thought these are stories. I just feel like I'm going like blah blah woke whatever. The Russo brothers said first thing about Marvel movies, and then they'd like to make their own Star Wars. I don't think they can. I don't think they are talented enough. It's been pretty clear of that with the Gray Man and their other stuff. And their whole thing about the Marvel stuff, I would say here's the thing about when people are like, why isn't Marvel working and all this stuff. I think it's like Endgame was a finale. They should have sort of taken some time to regroup. I also think too much of how Marvel works is, oh, we have 5,000 characters. We could make 5,000 movies, which is a stupid idea. But I do think, like, COVID's weird. I think Shang-Chi gets underestimated. I think it was a bigger hit than people realize. Um, Sorry, I see the rock thing is funny. Um, but I don't think superhero movies are over. I think they just needed to take a break, and like this year it's fine. But like when people say, "Oh, it's because of TikTok," I'm like, not really. Like No Way Home was a huge hit. Like Spider-Verse was a huge hit. Like if you have an event and a good movie, people are gonna go. But there hasn't been an event superhero movie since honestly the two Spider-Mans, and people always see Spider-Man. So it's like I don't think it's over. I just think it's like shifting genre wise, and I think people are just like, why didn't the Marvels work? I mean, I think they didn't market it 100% well, and I don't think the first movie was beloved enough, and they took too much for granted. Whereas like we look at X-Men 97, people love that, and it's talked about all over social media. So I think it's just like, you got to keep the quality up, and as long as you have quality and an event and something people want to see, it works out. When you just try to make, launch every character and pretend you're going to do Guardians of the Galaxy again, you're going to get what you get, So, anyway, I feel stupid about shutting down annoying people now. Maybe I'll do less of this in the future. But we learned that Netflix is going to do a live-action Scooby-Doo from Greg Berlanti. I've not seen the live-action Scooby-Doo movies, which I know people like. And I'm a little curious about, but I don't know. To me, it's like, why isn't it on Max? And also, like, I don't really see the point. Like, didn't Mystery Inc. do the grown-up one? I get that there's like always a new Scooby-Doo adaptation. I guess this is the one, but like, I just don't like. If it was a new cartoon for kids, sure, because especially like Scooby-Doo during the pandemic, because of what Scooby or Scoob or whatever was like massive with kids, I think you could do a new Scooby-Doo show, but like doing this is like, I think of a mistake. I think Greg Merlanti, it's like, I don't know. I don't really get it, but Greg Merlanti's doing it again. They want something because Riverdale was successful and the CW shows were always successful, and they chose to do Scooby-Doo. I think it's kind of a dumb idea. But, like, look, Wednesday worked, so I'm sure they're like, people like these serious dumbass reboot things. And look, like, Wednesday, I watched some of it. I was like, it's fine, but it really was a, like, huge hit, regardless of if I like it or not. It was obviously a part of the culture, that stupid dance, like, all that stuff. So I guess I sort of understand financially where they're coming from, but I don't really. To me, it's like, didn't Mystery Inc. do this? Like, if I was, I have the same feeling about if I was James Gunn and I'm making my Superman movie, or whomever ends up making the X-Men movie versus X-Men 97 and My Adventure Superman, I would feel self-conscious because I was like, I feel like these guys are doing better than I would ever do. Like, I feel like I look like a fucking idiot. Like, like, I don't know. Maybe he has a good take. We don't know enough, so I'll reserve my judgment. But initially, when I hear that, I want to throw up all over the place. So I just don't think it's a good idea. So Masters of the Universe, the movie with MGM that we know Travis Knight is doing. This is so to be clear about. Oh, I need some water. I'm sorry. To be clear about this Master of the Universe thing, look, I saw the original live action Master of the Universe in theaters, so I am primed for this shit, let me tell you. But this was basically like canceled. Like I talked about how they'd spent too much development money, and Netflix was like, get the fuck out of here, like we're not doing this. like because they bought a package that I think maybe MGM had or something. And, like, it got too expensive and they ended it. And then it came back out of the ashes because of the MGM Amazon thing. Because Amazon just has money to burn. I think part of it is also because they did... they've seen what the animated shows have done. They're still, like, in Target. They sell a ton of Master Universe toys. I get why they'd want to do something with it. But they actually gave it a date, which is June 5th, 2026. That's fairly ambitious. That sort of means it's going in production soon. I think Travis Knight could do a good job. A lot of people are saying, does this mean Leica is going to have a deal with Amazon? I have long wondered why, and this is everyone projecting, I will say, but I have long wondered why Leica doesn't have a deal with the streaming service. However, until then, I do think this could work, and it having a release date is probably the biggest announcement for this Master Universe movie we've had, like, forever, ever. It's Master Universe on the Criterion Channel. I'm not sure if that's a joke or not. Because it should be. No, it is kind of a big deal to get a date, because I think nobody thought it would get a release date like this. Like, that's pretty wild, actually. I'm actually kind of surprised. So we'll see what happens, but I'm color me shocked, basically. We got a trailer for My Adventures Superman Season 2. It comes out, I didn't write that down, but I think it's the end of this month. I'm excited. I showed it to Sophie. We watch it together. I don't know if I do an episode short thing. I'll probably just do it after I've watched a few episodes, but I really like that show a lot. I think people like I'm always like, hey, if you like superhero stuff, like, watch My Adventures with Superman. I've told people to. I've told my dad to watch it. I've told other comic book people to watch. May 25th. Thank you, Austin. But I'm excited. Sophie's excited. We saw Supergirl in it. I think it looks cool. Lex is going to be in it. It looks like a fun, good time show. What you want for Superman. I'm a little still surprised it's not on, like, regular Cartoon Network and Adult Swim, but to me it's like it's on Max, and, like, kids don't watch terrestrial TV, so, like, getting upset about that is fucking dumb. However, I don't get why it's on Adult Swim, but I still think it's a great show. I'm excited for it, and we'll see. So these are kind of okay. So the X Mansion, they made an X Mansion which looks more like X-Men the animated series for Airbnb, who's also made things like Bluey's House, and they made an Up House, and you can stay at it, I'm sure, for an accelerated rate. I don't remember where the X Mansion is, but it's not. If it's not in Westchester, that means it's bullshit to me. Look, I love X-Men. It has a Sentinel head outside of it. It looks really cool. However, since I was a little kid, when I would get upset, I would be like, this house is so stupid. I would much rather live in the X Mansion, even if it gets destroyed every fucking, or I didn't say fucking, sorry, every 2 weeks or something. Much funnier. And then my dad would have to explain to my mom the X Mansion. My mom was like, I don't care at this point. Why is he yelling about things? Anyway, I was just like, so, like, I would, look, since I was a little kid, when I read X-Men comics a lot, I knew you don't want to live in the X Mansion. Either somebody's going to attack, there'll be Magneto will show up, your fucking computer's going to get fried because of his shit. Like, there's going to be all this stuff going on. I do not want to stay there, man. Like, I'm not staying there. Bad idea. There's like, maybe I'll get a good weekend, and, like, you know, Sentinels are busy, and, like, Apocalypse is like, I don't know what, Mr. Sinister, like, I don't know, having a movie night together or something. Everybody's like leaving me alone. But to be honest with you, I there's no way I could ever stay in X Mansion. I'm just like, I've heard too many stories where it gets blowed up or some weird shit happens. There's no fucking way. No way I'm staying there. I'm sorry. Like, it's cool fan wise. I'm like, I'd love to walk through it. Even that, I'm like, what if Sabretooth's here? And everybody's like, he's like tied down. It's fine. I read the comic and the cartoon. That happened in both of them. Just, no, man. No. I saw X2. I'm not dealing with, like, Brian Cox coming in and thinking I'm a mutant and stuff. It's just not happening. In fact, it made me paranoid. I was like, I don't even like looking at this. Like, this Airbnb thing. What if my computer's going to explode now? I won't look at it. I looked at my computer at work. Just be safe. So they can be like, look, I'm sorry, sent a link. It's malware. I don't know. But I was just, anyway. So on a more serious note, what if you get replaced by Mystique? Thank you, Austin. What about that? What if I wake up and I'm like, I've been Mystique like for a week. I didn't even know. Or wait, would she be? Don't worry about it. So the Fall Guy. We've talked a lot about the Fall Guy. and I've talked a lot about how the film industry is particularly like believing that this is the start of the summer. This is the savior of movies or whatever. It's been like this hype thing for like weeks and weeks. They're like, this is going to do so well. Steven Spielberg apparently saw it and thought it was great. Like all this stuff. And this week, you know, it opens tonight, I guess, has not been good for The Fall Guy. The projections came out about 30 million, which is not huge actually. Which was kind of surprising given all the hype. They've been like really doing crazy stuff with stuntmen and I applaud Universal for actually putting like effort into the marketing. I've noticed the effort into marketing of Planet of the Apes and Furiosa and this. I'm glad people are making experiences and doing more stuff, because it does feel like sometimes when you hear about a marketing department, they're just like, we made a poster and we put the poster everywhere. What's the big deal? I'm like, why do you have a marketing degree? Like now I'm like, okay, you're like working. Like I actually have faith in the marketing departments of studios again. And like they've really done a cool job of like showing off stunt work and like him admitting he doesn't do his own stunts, Ryan Gosling, and like him and Emily Blunt were like the first video on TikTok, and like they're doing like almost every press thing, like him showing up as the Beavis and Butthead thing. Like they're always trying to get attention for this movie. And you would have thought with that amount of promotion, it would be more than 30 million, but that's what it's looking. And people are trying to be nice and be like, maybe 40. In my mind, when people are like, oh, the film industry's doomed because of the Fall Guy thing, I think it's like, I think like launching the summer with this was maybe a bad idea. And like, maybe, hear me out here. Because everyone's like, well, if it builds, I'm like, movies don't really build in May. Like to me, like this and Deadpool should have swapped. And like Deadpool Wolverine is an obvious hit. You put it out at the beginning of summer. It launches summer. We have a big fucking fat hit to get us through. Like a proven hit. Then you have Planet of the Apes, Furiosa. The Mad Max movies don't do as well as they should. But it's pretty shocking. And the reviews came out and people don't like it as much. It's very funny to see this happen. This is like a 90s summer movie where like there's all this hype and it gets magazine covers and then it comes out. But I don't know. It's interesting. I hope it works out because the film industry has so much riding on it doing well, but people are saying If is going to do better than this, which I don't know. We'll see. But I wanted to bring it up because it is like when I saw those projections, I was like, Rut-row. That ain't good. He's like, what you talk about Regal's like waiting to more staffing for the Fall Guy. And I was like, that's not more staffing. That's like people are losing jobs and shit. So maybe like they shouldn't have put so much on it. I think like a Deadpool or a Twisters or like it is weird. This summer has a weird flow to it because I heard the Slash Filmcast they went over the whole summer. And it feels like people emphasize July more because then you can ride your movie until like September. Like there's nothing really out till Beetlejuice. And like you can just ride out till then, which is like fine. I understand people like to do that more with Christmas and all those other things. But like there has to be something at the beginning of summer. And it really feels like May has like fallen off the radar in a post-COVID world. Although last year we had Guardians, much better start of the summer. Which everyone took for granted. Like everyone likes Guardians 3, but nobody, like every time people say it, like that was a good movie. But then like, I feel like it went like whoosh. Anyway. So I did sort of talk about 28 years later last time with the casting, but there's two things I heard that I thought were interesting. One is that the actual lead is not any of those people who I mentioned. It is actually a teenager is going to be the lead of the cast. We don't know who that's going to be yet. And the main thing when you heard that casting is like, what's going on with Cillian Murphy during his Best Actor run? We heard a lot. He was saying he would be interested in returning. What people are hearing right now is that he will show up at the end of part 2 and star more in part 3 is sort of the plan that's being reported. I don't get that. Like, what is with these? Like, they're really... I don't know. To me, it's like, put them in the first one. Like, this is not a guaranteed thing that they think it is, but whatever. All right. We should probably... How Okay. So, in an entrepreneurial way that slasher movies are, someone has combined Mickey Mouse slasher movie with Winnie the Pooh slasher movie, making Mickey versus Winnie as a slasher movie. Now, this is I'm gonna give them credit for like this is sort of original, but it's just like anyway. Okay, according to the plot synopsis, Mickey versus Winnie will take a lot of inspiration from previous horror films of the past. The movie will open with two criminals in the 1920s escaping into a forest, only to be dragged away and trapped there forever by unseen forces. About 100 years later, a group of friends staying in an Airbnb deep in the woods find themselves fighting for their lives against returned spirits of these same criminals, only with one notable twist. The criminals have mutated into terrifying versions of Mickey Mouse and Winnie the Pooh. Why in the forest? I don't know, but whatever. The film's title might also signify that eventually these two villains will clash. The victor of the previous unthinkable battle is anyone's guess. I like how Airbnb is the horror movie go-to. I also think it's funny that I think the Adult Swim Firelog and Barbarian did it best with those. So I'm always like you think you're gonna do better than that? I think this is the zenith point of the public domain Disney slasher films. I applaud them for going so fucking crazy with this. I'm like, yeah, you know what? Good for you. I will review this. I sort of regret not doing the first Winnie the Pooh, but I'll do horror slasher film, even though everyone hates it. But I will probably do more of the Mickey Mouse one. I'd be down to see this whenever it comes out, if there's a trailer, but we'll see if it actually happens. But I'll give them props for the premise. So Knuckles... Yes. Wait, Knuckles, sorry. I'm trying to prioritize what to talk about, because although I said I'd like to go late, I need to... Okay, we'll just do a few more things, and I'm going to take a break. Knuckles apparently is doing well, getting about 4 million on Paramount Plus its first weekend. I will say the thing with Knuckles is I've heard more kids be into it than adults, but Knuckles, like I said in my review, is for the kids, not for the adults, and it's much like, if you know the Sonic movies, it's in the vein of that. I think we're like almost done with it, but most people I know whose kids are into it have watched several episodes. So kids really like the Sonic movies. Kids like Sonic. I think Mario and Sonic are sort of different things, but Sonic is still really big, so I'm not surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if we get more of this because of more Sonic spin-offs, and as they get more characters into the movies, they do more of this spin-off things as well, because this is pretty much movie quality, I'd say. I mean, Knuckles isn't in certain episodes, but it's not as extreme as people say. So I'm not as surprised as everyone else, but Evil Dead, there's a couple other Evil Dead franchise things coming out. So we learned this week that filmmaker Francis Gullip, who made Last Stop in Yuma County, which I don't think has come out yet actually, has pitched another Evil Dead movie. But we also heard of a different Evil Dead by Sebastian Vanek. So I'm a little confused about... It seems like there's several Evil Deads and different concepts. We don't know much about this, but it seems like they are pursuing more Evil Dead movies. Okay, so this was a big thing I wanted to talk about. So MeTV, which is a basically over your antenna channel, which I can get on my antenna, I think, I didn't check, is launching a classic cartoon channel. What's cool about this is the MeTV... Jesus, why do all these... I hate the allow ad. Like, Variety doesn't need more money. MeTV Tunes is going to launch, and it will be on regular kind of terrestrial, antenna television. So if you are in America, at least, you can go on, get an antenna. I did. It's like $20, only once, and then you can watch a classic cartoons channel. I'm actually gonna, because I support this. I'm going to. I'll probably review this. It launches on June 25th. So basically, I can just turn it on anytime. There'll be classic channels. It sounds like Boomerang or like what classic Cartoon Network was. And I've seen Freakazoid and all the Hanna-Barbera stuff all over it. I think this is really cool. I think. I don't know. I think it's a smart move because if you go on like on the antenna thing, I have. It's a lot of old movies, and a lot of it appeals to like my parents' generation. It doesn't barely appeals even to me at this point, and I'm 40, so you'd think that they would be doing that. But I think it's a smart move because there's a lot of people who, financially, it gets tougher and tougher every year for all of us, and I think having a free option that, like, if you can pay $20 once and probably even less than that to set up an antenna and have a free way to get something for your kids to watch, and it's Bugs Bunny, that sounds awesome. So I actually sort of applaud them for doing this. As much as, like, Pluto is free, there's people who they have like one phone, they need it for work and stuff, they can't always just put Pluto on. Internet costs money, but this is like $20 only once. You never have to pay for it again. So I think that's actually really cool. It's cool to let more people have access to this. It's cool that, the grandparents have a thing they can just put on for anyone. So I highly recommend, and I wanted to make a video on, maybe I will eventually, how to hook up an antenna, because I think a lot of people don't know, and how cool it is and the options you have. There's a lot of classic movie channels. Seriously, it's like, go to a dollar store. They usually have them for pretty cheap. And once you set it up, you're good, and that's it, and it's awesome. Half the people I've told about antenna, and I'm not trying to make fun of them, but it shows like how people are accustomed to certain things. I always go, well, it's like $20, and they're like, well, what is it per month? And I'm like, it's just $20. That's it. But it's like when you hear an entertainment option, you expect to pay for it in perpetuity, but this is like old TV. So anyway, it sounds really cool. It's gonna have a ton of old. Johnny Quest, Popeye, Yogi Bear, Top Cat, the Jetsons, Tom and Jerry, Scooby-Doo, Daffy Duck, Bugs Bunny. Awesome. So I applaud. I wanted to spend a little time on this because I think it is fucking awesome. I'm super excited for it. On June 25th, I will maybe make a short about it to help promote it because I think it's really cool. Also, I didn't have this in my script, but it occurs to me, Saturday is free comic book day. I wanted to bring this up, actually. What I'm doing for free comic book day is there's a comic book store near where I live. I'm taking the kids. We're all going. Everybody's getting free comics. But what I do with free comic book store day is there's two things I do. When I was younger, I used to go to every comic book store in New York and like check them all out. But if there's a comic book store that's one near you, I recommend get your free comics. They're free. That's cool. Buy like one thing because comic book stores need the money. And I would say do that. So it's Saturday. I think it's Saturday this weekend. But yeah, go to a comic book store. Just buy one thing. Help them out. Go to the dollar bin. They all have dollar bins. Go to the dollar bin. Buy a funky back issue or something. But like, show some support. Just go in and grab a bunch of shit. Like, you know what I mean? I'm just saying. A lot of them do special events and stuff like that. But if you're around Saturday and there's a comic book store near you, or you like know one a little way, just like come in, stop by, buy like a cheap thing from their bargain bin or whatever. But like help support because it's a cultural thing that we're gonna lose unless we support it. And that's the point of doing that. Anyway, not saying none of you do. I'm just saying in general that's how I behave on Free Comic Book Day. But I'm excited to take the kids to the comic book store. They like the comic book store in general, and we go. And each kid is gonna get a comic book, and I'm gonna get a comic book. I don't think the wife's gonna get a comic book, but she can if she wants to. Okay, so two things, and then I will take a break. Or three things. One is Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes is going to have a non-mocap cut with everyone in mocap suits not being apes on the Blu-ray. I'm sorry. I have to have this Blu-ray. I definitely will review this. This sounds the fucking awesomest thing I have ever heard. I don't know that, like, look, the black and white cut thing, other than Fury Road, fucking dumb for all those other movies. But this, give me more of this. I am so excited for this. Let us do this. This is awesome. I am so excited for this. I am buying the King of the Planet. I don't care if King of the Planet Apes is bad. I don't think it will be, but I don't care if it's not, because this sounds very intriguing to me. This is just like when X-Men Origins Wolverine had the non-special effects done version that bootleg went around. Oh my god, I'm excited. I guess the green screen version of SimCity, but this is different. Okay, all right, Cinram. You deflated that a little, but you have a good point. All right, this is, I guess, local, but I wanted to talk about it because I think it should be a bigger story. I know I tweet about things, but whatever. I've never been to this theater. I'm going to be honest about that. But the Concourse Plaza Multiplex in the Bronx, which has been there for 30 years, I believe it said its first movie it played was like Home Alone or something, or Sister Act, is shutting down. This has been an increasing problem in New York, but I know in other places where, no, it opens its doors for Home Alone and Thelma and Louise are first screens. But yes, it's closing down the Bronx. It's leaving the Bronx, which is one of the 5 boroughs of New York and stuff. I'm never really in the Bronx. No offense to the Bronx. Anyway, they have a nice zoo though. What's happening in New York and what's happening in other places is the rent is going too high for these multiplexes, and as much as they want to do a new rebrand of an old theater, they often have to leave. What happened in New York theaters, and what happens to a lot of theaters, is sometimes around the late 90s, a lot of theaters closed, mostly because there are too many rats, so they just decided to demolish it rather than take care of the rats. But not a joke. And there's certain eras cities have of overturn. But what's happening is a lot of these chains who want to push forward and do new things are being held back by landlords, not because they're too cheap to do it, actually. And this is becoming an increasing problem. I know this is maybe more technical and not as funny, but I wanted to bring this up because I've heard this happen in Baltimore. Well, I've heard of it almost happening in Baltimore. I've heard in other cities it's happening. It seems particularly happen in New York. But the fact that something like the Bronx has one theater now, one multiplex, is fucking stupid. I know New York has a lot of options in terms of movie theaters, but the fact that the Bronx only has one, I think, is shameful. We're going to continue to see this in many cities, but I think this is an indication of where we are culturally and financially and stuff. But it's a shame that the film industry is being held back by shitty landlords. Okay. I unfortunately did not get to watch a few trailers that I wish I did, but I did see a bit of Andy Samberg being serious in a prestige movie, and that was weird. Okay, the last thing, apparently, and this story didn't get as much press, but Spielberg is going to be making things for Joe Biden for the Democratic National Convention. He previously did that for Obama in 2008. He hasn't done that again since then, but he apparently will be making some documentary or something for that, and will, it's only one, apparently. There are a ton of theaters in Manhattan, and Brooklyn doesn't even have that many, and Queens and stuff, but it is New York. It's like not as much as it used to be. But anyway, he's going to be making stuff for Joe Biden at the DNC, so that's the thing. All right, I'm going to take a break. When we get back, here is the order. Guess what? Spielberg is liberal. Shock of all shocks. We're going to do the Amazing Digital Circus pilot episode. I'm going to review the Very Important House pilot, and then I will be doing my secret third segment. I will be right back. I do kind of need to use the bathroom. And then we'll do those. We'll do questions. I think we will go past midnight, so if you are getting tired and like, I can do too much, that's what we're going to do. I hope not too much. If it gets to 12:30, I'm cutting it off, though. So, anyway, this will be a jam-packed episode. I hope you guys like this one, and thank you all for riding with me. You've been a great I don't know. I'm very thankful for my fan base in general. But thank you all very much. I will be right back. Enjoy this from Ace the Moonrider. His links are in the description of this video. Please check them out if you haven't. But enjoy this thing, and I will be right back after a quick break. Okay. Oh, here we go. Ramsey, I totally understand because I'm sure you're tired. So it is okay. And this video will be here tomorrow. So, but thank you for being here. You're a trooper for getting this far because that's that's a lot. That's a lot on a portfolio night. You know? Anyway, that's what I think at least. All right. So, I'm going to take a bit. We'll do the digital circus, which taking a break, I'm like, whoa. All right, cheers. So we've done an hour and a half of a live stream or something. I've seen other people say it's like hard to do live streams. I don't necessarily think that. You have to be on and stuff. But there are always people who like their only job is a live stream. And if I didn't have like another job, I wouldn't be as tired doing a live stream. So I was like, I mean, if it was the only thing, then I never got that. Anyway. All right. Never understood that one. So first segment of these 3 segments, the amazing digital circus. So my mic's on, right? Can people hear me? I hope so. Is the chat there? All right. Is it on? Now I'm worried. Oh, okay. It is on. I don't know why I thought. Whatever. All right. So the amazing digital circus. So like I saw the little jester person whose name I now forget. But I didn't really know what this was, and I know like Saber did a video and all this stuff. But I just was like didn't know about it, and then I clicked on the thing today because people were like, "You should really talk about this thing." And I was like, I was aware there was a thing. I didn't really know, It was Pomni. But I just don't. So I saw it had like 300 million views, which I was shocked by. Not that like something can do that without me hearing about it. It's the internet now; it can totally happen. But I was surprised it's so successful. I think it's even bigger than Has Been Hotel and all that stuff. Maybe I'm wrong view wise, but it feels like that. What I find, well, okay, when watching it, it's pretty clear. This isn't necessarily for me or my thing. Doesn't mean it's bad. I'm not upset and going to like go on a rant about how kids today or something. But I do think it has some interesting ideas. It is very frantic. It sort of reminds me of the same, like, I don't think it's like influenced by Has Been or something like that, but I can see the same person being into that, being into this. Sort of anime influence in terms of writing and jokes and stuff like that. But I did think one of the things, so you wake up in Pomni, I guess, it's the most viewed indie animation pilot on YouTube. Okay, thank you, a guy named Crystal. Well, the whole idea is basically, this person, Pomni, wakes up in this digital world, and they introduce everything, and I don't know what the fuck, Skitty Beach, I don't know what that is. But wakes up in this world, and they know they put on a digital headset, but you don't understand who they were before it. You don't understand what the real world is, and you know nothing about who this person is before this. Now, at first, I don't love that because the thing with that is, like, you look at, let's say, a Wizard of Oz or a Star Wars, or, you have this character, you establish the reality, you establish their world, and then you take them into this crazy world. But you know who Dorothy is, you know who Luke Skywalker is, you know who whomever is, person, then put in a crazy world, Jennifer Connelly in Labyrinth, whichever. It's a thing. I used kind of that basic structure. So part of me is like, I don't love that element of it because it feels like I'm not sure if like they have an idea and there's like a larger thing, or they just wrote this bad, because it doesn't come off as like they fully like what Pomni. Most of what we know about this character is she is stuck here. She wants to get out, and it's a new world. But like, I couldn't tell you much about her other than she's stuck there, which is like you look at something like Cube, let's say. In Cube, you sort of know things about them personality wise beyond that, and that was like kind of a thing that I thought that held it back, because it's more about like character design and craziness, and fine, like that's fine, like I think it sort of works in that, especially the guy with the teeth with the eyes in it and shit, like that's cool. But it did feel like storytelling wise, I'm already like, there's not much like, I feel like the character designs are doing more to differentiate the characters than the actual writing a lot of the times, because like I couldn't tell you much about these people other than their design. Like that's how I remember them. And I was like, other than the guy with the eyes in his teeth and shit, like I get who that guy is, but everybody else I'm like, I don't. It's like Raggedy Ann girl. Who is she? She's Raggedy Ann girl. Whereas like I think there should be more to the writing. Now, this is a pilot. They have more episodes. Maybe they will expand upon that, and I'm wrong. But I did find it interesting going into like a digital. Like I was like, why does this look like a 90s video game? That's the point. But at the same point, I was like, well, how do these people know it's a 90s video game? Like, what is their context for it? So it's like larger writing things that I hope they expand upon. But if it's just them going from adventure to adventure to adventure, I think it probably plays a little more shallow than I expected. As indie animation, as someone like breaking the system and doing a YouTube thing, that is amazing, and I hope them all the success in the world, at least financially and view wise. In terms of me being interested in this, I not really. I'm like, okay, previously I did like some of like Has Been and other stuff. I was never that into it, so I felt disingenuous, and I don't really want to do that again with another cartoon. So I don't know if I'd come back to this. But I think it's cool that people are into an indie thing. I just don't think it. I don't know. I just couldn't tell you much about the characters, and I think that's sort of like I'm gonna talk about another pilot after this that's less done, but I could tell you things about the characters, or and I think that kind of hurts it because it's not. It feels like it wants to be character driven, but it's honestly just more art driven, to be honest, which is cool in a sense. And I get like if you're into animation and like hot topicy stuff, you'd like that, but I just don't think it has much to offer writing wise. And I think these things, like even Has Been, I could tell you things about those characters. Like I'm not against it. I'm just not super into it, but I could tell you they were different characters writing wise. And I don't feel that way with this. So I think like as it goes on, maybe they will develop that further. If I was them, I would work more on differentiating and like telling them like what is a thing about each one other than like this guy's sort of sarcastic, this girl is digitally weird. I don't know, but I like I'm happy for that production. It seems like it's cool that they're doing their own indie thing. I wish them the best. I just wasn't super into this. So, I'm sure this will be a very popular video. Okay. Sorry, I'm just trying to... Okay. This is actually good. This key thing. Actually pretty good. Alright. And also it's like the liminal thing. I wish... If people are going to do horror, because I notice when people do horror in this sort of like exaggerated way, I never get the sense they understand how horror works. And it's like they kind of just know it on a very surface level. And I'm not saying everyone should be an expert in horror, but if you're going to use it, like understand how you're using it other than this is creepy. It's like anybody can like stare at you weird in a room, but it's like, what's the reason he's staring at me weird in the room? You know? Anyway. So second segment. The very important house. Oh, so I wanted to say this before I start this actually. I previously did a thing about how this was lost, and that's a separate video. When I put this out, this will be labeled as very important house pilot review. I will probably relabel that one into something else because I think there's a bit of confusion when I have two videos out and there is a different thing for them. So just if you're wondering, I'll figure that out when I get to it. I might not relabel it, but I think I would. So the very important house pilot was leaked during this big Disney television pilot and I guess pitch book and story Bible, all sorts of info leak that happened recently. Good night, Rams the artist. Thank you for being here. And I kind of had always been curious about the very important house because it was Jonah Vasquez's big sort of follow-up with Invader Zim. It was him working for Disney. I think it would have been a cool show. It seemed cool, like this kid and his cat are in, you know, this house that's like the center of the universe, and they have to help people out who come to them and stuff like that. It seemed like a cool idea, and I'd always been curious about it. I was always surprised they didn't go for it because Invader Zim sells so much merch, it just seems like a way to print money, basically, but they chose not to do it, so whatever. But we finally found this sort of like rough pilot. It's mostly storyboards and animatics. There's some animation. There's sort of like this pilot, and there's like a rough thing at the end. It's like a looser, more well done pilot with all cut together with more voices and stuff than we got before. We only got it from Jonah Vasquez's Vine account, which he was big on Vine, which I still think is a weird. It shows you how long ago this was in development, I guess. Basically it's like you have Froley, the one character, and Grandpa the cat. And I will say the actress Natalie Palmedi's, I think, who played Froley, does such a good job that despite that this isn't very well, you know, isn't finely animated and stuff like that, and it just storyboards and animatics, she sells it so well. I was really actually into it. And I think I actually thought she did a really good job, because I've seen like animatic things and like you kind of get bored because stuff isn't done, and like you're like, oh, maybe this will be a thing. I can sort of see it. But I was like, she was like the glue that made this whole thing like pop. And I really got to give her credit for that, because I thought that was amazing. Now she has to deal with, and I actually thought it was a funny idea. She has to deal with this blob that everyone hates because it dissolves people. And actually there used to be unicorns in this world, but this blob that dissolves everything dissolved all the unicorns. And so this blob's like, nobody likes me because I dissolve people and I kill everyone and stuff. And so Flory has to get, sorry, it is a funny premise, has to find a way to get people to like the blob. It's set up in such a way that you kind of can tell what the result's going to be, but it's kind of a funny premise to go to such a crazy extreme with it. I really did like how it went. I like the character Froley and Grandpa and all the crazy worlds they hint at and stuff like that. It felt like a very like alive kind of premise and world. So I really like the energy to it. I like the even the storyboards, like what you could imagine to it. I like the animation at the end. It really showed me like this could fully be a premise. It seemed like in some cases when you hear pitches, even if you like them, you're like, yeah, but how is that really going to work ultimately? And this made me go, I would watch 10 of these right away. Like I want to watch more of this. Like, and I think this could have played really well next to Star versus the Forces of I think this could have played very well next to Star versus the Forces of Evil. The character designs are really good. It's really well defined. I could totally since I'm like always surprised this didn't get picked up just for the merchandise sales, I could totally see this on t-shirts and dolls and all this stuff. Maybe not as much as Invader Zim, but I can see it. Like, I'm sure Hot Topic could have cleared space for it. And I think it's a good, fun premise. It has a good sense of humor about itself. It's definitely on a kid level, not as disturbing as Invader Zim, at least this one, but still, like, you get that horror, crazy Vasquez element to it. I thought it rode the line well. The unicorn joke was weird. But I'm disappointed this didn't go anywhere. I think it was really good. But I'm sad it didn't go anywhere. But I really could see the premise. This made me like it even more. When I researched it initially in the other video I made years ago, I was like, why didn't this happen? This seems cool. And after watching the pilot, I'm even more like, why didn't this happen? This seems really cool. I think it is probably a real shame that this didn't go anywhere, and I wish it had gone further than it got to, because I think it would have been a really cool show. I think maybe it wouldn't have lasted as long, but I think it could have definitely gotten a fun cult following. But maybe they already had Wander Over Yonder, they already Star Wars Force of Evil. Disney TV was really going through a cool thing, and I think this could have fell in line, with that, and Gravity Falls, it would have fit right in, and it's kind of a shame it didn't get to go beyond this, and even that this isn't even fully animated. I hope at some point they come back to him and let him do it, because I think it could be a really fun premise. I think it was kind of it's sad that it didn't get to go any further, but if you've never seen this pilot, I do recommend it if you like Jonah Vasquez. It kind of shows you more of the promise that he could bring to new shows he created, and it's a shame that Disney, for whatever reason, felt that they weren't going to move forward with it. So, all right, let me drink some water. Okay. Okay, so this will never be a video. This is just a stray segment. I wanted to get this out. Oh, I guess I did forget about that. I don't know. All right, so let me set the stage. So it's 1999. Phantom Menace is coming out. Just stay with me here. This is more me being stupid than anything. So, maybe I shouldn't tell this, but we'll do it anyway. It's a total dumb teenage thing. So, Phantom Menace is coming out. Anything about the Phantom Menace, I'm consuming. I'm reading an article. If E! News, which was bigger at the time, which is very different than what it became, is going over a Phantom Menace story, I'm going to watch it. If Entertainment Tonight is, I will watch anything Phantom Menace at this time. Anything. I'm super into it. And I'm all for it. Like, I want to hear about, what's Jake Lloyd's favorite Pop-Tart? What, there's Ahmed Best. There's Ewan McGregor. Well, how does Liam Neeson feel about Notting Hill coming out at the same time? Like, anything. I will watch it. So there's the premiere. Pretty normal premiere, pretty normal thing. You know what I mean? It's like you hear the press things and they hear everybody's coming through, and Natalie Portman's like there, and the E! News person. I don't remember if it's E! News, Entertainment Tonight. I don't remember where I heard this. But here's the thing. Now I'm going to tell you this thing. I'm going to tell you, you're going to rethink about this. But I heard Natalie Portman wasn't at the Phantom Menace premiere because she wanted to do her finals for high school. Look, I was a kid who didn't like school. For the entire time I was in school, pretty much. I have a learning disability. It was always tough. And in my mind, if there was any way I could not ever go to school ever again in my entire especially art school, college is one thing. But if hearing a famous person in a Star Wars movie who wanted to stay in high school was the worst thing I'd ever heard in my entire life. I was so pissed off about this. Which, by the way, nobody cared about this. My friends were like, dude, she might not have even been doing that. Like, it's just like a press thing. It was like, no, like, forget her. Like, everyone in line who was older than me was super creepy about Natalie Portman. I was not on that level. I was like, how dare she finish high school? It like really offended me. I was very upset about it actually, because I was like, I was in a Star Wars movie. And I would rant to people and be like, dude, like, I don't know if it's even true. Like, I like, why are you so obsessed with this? And like, this is not a thing I let go of either. This is like such a dumb teenage thing, because in my mind, like, if I was in a Star Wars movie, I'd be like, yeah, never, I'm not going back to this. That's just not happening. And the fact that someone who had that opportunity was like the worst thing I had ever heard as a 14, 15-year-old. So, like, I was, like, not happy about this to an extreme degree. In fact, anytime she'd do an interview, like, on Letterman or something, I would just, like, not watch it out of some protest that nobody... Like, there was no Twitter. I did not go hate on... I would just bitch to my friends. Like, I don't know. Like, and so many people were like, don't you think she's cute because she's in a Star Wars movie? I was like, no, not at all. Like, I was, like, so diehard about this. And it took me like years. Like, I just had this mode like that she just sucked. Like, I just hated her just for this. Like, it really wasn't like she's a girl at Star Wars thing. It was just the school thing, that until I think she was in Closer in 2004. I held on to this too long, and I was like, okay, she can act. Look. I know that she can act. She was really good in Closer, not because of the sexy scene. Like, she was actually really good in that movie. She got an Oscar nomination. I understand everyone just goes to the stripper scene thing, but I legitimately thought she was really good in that. I was like, all right, I'll coming around. I did actually think she was kind of hot in episode 2, and I was like, oh, maybe I should stop. And it wasn't until she did the Lonely Island rap thing around V for Vendetta that I was like, okay, she's fine. And now I'm like fine with her, but yeah, I was so, and people I was in line with who were older than me would say like real gross stuff about her, and I would just like, first I'd say, that's weird, you're old, and then I would just go on this rant about the high school thing. That I'm sure they're like, I could tell now looking back at it, they're definitely looking like, what the fuck is that? Like, this is a weird thing. I was obsessed with hating her on. Nobody cared about this. This was like this was a party of me. If there was a group, this would just be this would just be me getting upset. But I will say, everything she said about dudes being creepy towards her when that movie came out, I heard so much of that crap. But instead, I'll let her know I shut that down by hating on her for something that no one else would, and then just shutting down that conversation. So I think I did my part. But no, I think even there's like sometime I saw her or something coming out of a restaurant, and I was like, ugh, just not into it. But anyway, that's my dumb extra Phantom Menace thing. I just wanted to tell that because I thought it was funny, and I was like, man, that was a very dumb teenage silly Phantom Menace story. But I thought it's the only thing that wasn't in the other video, and if I had made the new video, that was gonna be in there because it's like so embarrassing. But I think the one thing to explain it more is like, look, I had a rough middle school. I had no, she definitely was probably made to go to school. I think in the state of Maryland, I think after 16, you could actually choose legally, but which, trust me, I told everyone all the time. But I had a rough middle school, and like even though I was doing better, it was my freshman year of high school, I was still did not like it. So I think it's like hearing somebody who had an out not exploit that was just like deeply upsetting to me. So it took me a while to get over that. So that is my bonus Phantom Menace story. I'm sort of embarrassed about it now, but I totally get why that affected me, because like, you know, every year of school was tough, and hearing about somebody not continuing with it willingly was just like, yeah. But no, I saw her once coming out of some club and everyone was making a big deal, and I think I just like rolled my. I don't think. Anyway, I was like, whatever. Who cares? All right. No one bullied me, but all the schoolwork and messing up was a whole different situation. All right. Let's go through the Patreon questions. First, I'm going to put questions below. No, I'm sure she had tutors and was forced to, and I look, it was not a highly reasonable thing. Whoa, a ghost? Oh no, people just. Anyway, okay, questions below. All right, so this first one is from Jordan Bouchard. It's okay, it's not a ghost. Said, what. Okay. What National Lampoon or American Pie type movies do you have memories of watching with pals? Do you remember anything noteworthy or funny from those viewings? If not, which did you enjoy, if any? I think, like most people, I watched Animal House, which I know is like kind of the most basic one. I think it like that in the vacations. There was one like in '94 or something. It's like Class Trip, and I've never seen it, but like I used to watch this channel that would just play trailers for pay-per-view movies, and I saw that trailer a lot, and I've never seen it, and I think Jeremy Renner's in it or something. It's like anyway, that one I'd like to see. American Pie I had a weird experience with where like I tried to sneak into it and I got caught. So I ran into Austin Powers, which is the movie I bought the ticket for, so they didn't kick me out. And then I saw it on VHS and I like hated it. I really didn't like American Pie. And so everyone else I know is my age thinks it's like this real seminal movie in my high school, I remember. And I just like, I was so ready for it to be that. And it really, I don't know. I was also like watching like Magnolia and all these like big important, being John Malkovich, and like those were my movies. And then going to like American Pie, I don't think it lives up to those necessarily. So I think that's probably why. But yeah, I do remember watching Animal House a lot of times with friends. I think that was like the only real one of that. All right. Nathaniel Focus says, which film will be a massive hit in December and why will it be Sonic 3? I think, Wicked's November, right? I think that one will actually be pretty big. I think I haven't looked at the whole calendar, so I actually think Sonic 3 will be pretty big, and I think he could probably make more if it's in December, because this is the first Sonic that's come out not in February, and I think maybe they're like, maybe we should have more faith in it to go up against. Because remember, it was going to go up against Avatar, but I don't think that's happening. So I think I can see, you need a movie to take the kids to around that time. And Sonic 3, it's like a proven franchise, so I could see it doing pretty well. I mean, I know we're going, so. Austin says, hey Jim, great show this week and last week. It was really cool learning about working at your school's radio station led to meeting your wife, and it didn't last 9 seasons to do it. My question was something you don't like the TikTok letterbox favorite films. I see those videos more of excuses of on-spot thinking, the improv skills of, what's the first thing and what comes to your mind. So my question to you is, what's the first 4 films you think about when asked your favorite? Okay, I thought I answered this before, but I have a 3 because I used to I was on like some podcast, I forget when, and I told somebody like, yeah, I don't really have like a favorite movie, and I was like, I feel that that's kind of dumb, and they're like, well, no, just like have one, because you're on a podcast, just come up with one. It doesn't really have to be. It doesn't just because like one you want to tell people about, because it's like an easier way to get to know you. And I went, oh, right. So I have, because I love actually watching those letterbox things, because every now and then someone says something interesting. But I have my top 3 ready to go. my I feel like I've done this before, but since it's a question, I'll do it now. Sorry. Um, Public Enemy, the William Wellman film with James Cagney, which I think is 31, would be one of them because I just love beginning of like kind of classic film acting, the end of the silent era, the beginning of talkies, and James Cagney's amazing, and William Wellman's direction is amazing, and I love William Wellman. My second would be Jaws because I love just love Jaws, and how Spielberg directed it, and I watch it every year, and it's just like an obsession. Just not even just the shark thing, just so much how it becomes a different movie in the last 45 minutes. Everything with the town, everything with the shark, every character in it. I feel like I could hear about that movie every day almost. And then the third one would be Pink Flamingos, just because I'm from Baltimore and John Waters is such a huge influence on me, and that movie was such a big deal to me. And I feel like it's the only cult movie that can still like poke at you and offend you and gross you out. I couldn't do a fourth one because it would be like, do I do 400 Blows or The Third Man or A Cure, Keys Delivery Service or Spirited Away or Wizard of Oz or just like too many. Like I would have, I think I tried to write them all down, like all the ones that could be number 4, and it just got to be like, or like Fury Road would be in there, I guess. Like just too many. I couldn't do 4, but I can do 3. So I guess that answers it. Those would actually be my my 3. I couldn't do the other one. I feel like there's probably a few others I'm forgetting about even to do the 4th one, but the 3 I can do. So if I got it, I would just say 3 and then like pass on the 4th one. All right. Safe Powers, what did I miss? All right, let's start the show over. Cornbread, will you still be drinking Zoya? Like, I mean, how, now that we know that The Rock drinks pee, how do we know what he puts in the energy drinks? You know, this crossed my mind. I kind of wonder how you can sell energy drinks when people know you do that when you pee. I still will, but I will be hesitant. It does make you think. Favorite Watto line from Phantom Menace, Austin. Probably when he has to give a mannequin, maybe. I don't know what it was. Black Sackwinkle, what water bottle brand would you use on set? Probably one with a wide mouth. Oh my god. I'm gonna walk away from that. Sinram, who was your worst teacher in middle school? I do not remember his name. I remember this one time I had to like retake an exam, and I noticed, he hands me the exam. I'm gonna like fill it out. And I noticed like whatever group number I was in was wrong, and I was like, hey, just before I take this, I just want to let you know, the group number is wrong. I just want to make sure that, there's no mistake or something like that. Sorry, if you don't mind if I like cross it out, I'll write the right one in, because I didn't want to get, and he like completely lost it. It was like, how Jim screws up, Jim's really, and he like took out a quiz I had done bad at, and the original one, and like started screaming and like completely, and he would do that to me anytime I had to fill out an exam because I corrected a thing that was just, I wasn't like, anyway, anytime I would try not to do a makeup quiz with this guy, because every time he would just like completely lose his crap, that like you would say, and I would never, I don't know, maybe I came off differently, but I remember just being like, oh, I just wanted to let you know, and he did not take that well. It was very, and I think after I stopped having to take his class, I would avoid his room because he just would lose his shit over being in the wrong group, which I thought was a pretty reasonable thing to correct. I don't know, maybe I asked too many questions. Now I'm like trying to excuse it, but I'm like, I don't know, some of those people had a lot of stresses in their lives. I don't know, but they probably weren't paid very well. But it was still like, I remember exactly, like, I was like, I'm gonna fill out this test and get the fuck out. This sucks. Because it was like after school too, so like no one's around, and this person's like yelling at you, and you're 12. Oh my god. Who would win in a fight, Paul Blart or Creech? You know what? I think Paul Blart could pull it out, Javier. Thank you for that. Cornbread, with the excitement that has come from your Disney pilot news this past week, do you think we're overdue for more studios to make more Oh Yeah cartoons, or what are cartoon pilot comp series? I actually think, uh, yeah, I actually think it would be a good idea. It also like could get out some of those pilots, and then you would make some money off of it. And I think it's like sort of a bad idea not to. You know, it's just like if you're gonna spend that development money, and people will watch them. Like people watch those sci-fi channel things, and I remember seeing tapes of them at conventions. And if you monetize that correctly, you could at least make something off them. Otherwise, it's just sort of like whatever, you know. Austin, thoughts on the whole Zorak being a Zorak minion? Also, they referred to Zorak as Locust in the first season of Coast to Coast, then later a Mantis. I sort of, I'm not gonna lie, I actually sort of knew that, to be honest with you. But I mean, I'm fine with it. I think it's like sort of the most Zorak thing that he's not even the correct Zorak. I think it's kind of appropriate, to be honest with you. Bloxy Oxenwinkle, if you could make a channel that only plays one thing, what would it be? It can't be Mystery Science Theater 3000. I mean, that already exists also. I guess, I mean, oh man. Space Ghost would be my go-to answer. Cat is sleeping weird. I would say either Space Ghost or old, like it was just, well, there's one idea I have had, but old Adult Swim stuff like bumpers, like you could, my idea for an MTV thing would be there'd be 3 channels, and one would be MTV 80s, 90s, 2000s, and you turn it on and it would just be the feed of MTV on this day and this year, and you could just like, it'd be 86 and you just see like videos they played and what was popular and what they were talking about. I've always thought that would have been a cool way, since most of the MTV stuff is just sort of lost, like all those host segments and intros and interviews, like not a lot of it's online. So I think that would be cool actually. I don't know who St. Paris says thoughts on John Moore. I don't think I know who that is. I'm sorry. Follow question, did you hear about the cartoon revival program Warner Brothers is doing? Keep seeing okay. What the, why can I not scroll? Frustrating. Where were we? Sorry. Okay, sorry. Cornbread asks, follow-up question. Sorry. You hear about the new cartoon revival program Warner Brothers is doing. Keep seeing updates on it every few months. I'm curious if you've seen anyone who's making one. No, I haven't, but I hope that happens. I think it'd be really cool. Zane Powers has becoming a father conditioned you to accept Medicare bad kids media, basically, like the Knuckles show. No, I'm just like, oh, the kids like it, it's fine, is more my thing. I'm not going to spend a ton of time reviewing it necessarily, but I'm kind of more accepting of like, that's that person's whatever. Favorite Monkey song? Maybe Stepping Stone, something off like the later albums. Although Last Train to Clarksville is a banger. I don't care. It's really good. Nathaniel Fogo, what's the cheapest movie ticket you've gotten? When they used to do $5 movie tickets, I guess that would be it. Yeah. They used to do that in like the 90s and stuff. I think it would be like $5. Probably that one. So, or $1. Was it $1 theater? I think it was $1 theater actually. So maybe that. Maybe dollar theaters. I don't remember dollar theaters. That'd be cool to bring that back, honestly. I heard somebody was trying, and I think they were like, oh, wait, you make absolutely no money. Austin, how am I supposed to remember every podcast you're on, or who am I at? That's true. Cineram, I don't like American Pie because the choir sang off key, but the teacher didn't seem to notice. Plus, Shooby Dooby Doo-wah, which apparently came from the heart. Horrible. What? I don't understand, but I agree. I'm glad we both agree on that. Can you talk about interest rates and central banking policy? No. Thanks, St. Powers. Cornbread. Dana Snyder was in like 5 of the 28 pilots that I had watched. What's up with that? Not that I mind. I love him, but what's up with that? I agree that a lot of the it feels like animators like the Adult Swim people more than networks do, which I think kind of stinks because I think they deserve a little bit more considering all that they've influenced. Nathaniel Fogel, have you ever watched the Nickelodeon Kids' Choice Awards? I watched a whole one in the 90s when Macaulay Culkin won Best Actor, and I don't think I've watched more than clips since then. Pup, you see a cute girl at a bar. What obscure film fact do you use to impress her? I've actually heard about this where guys will impress people by saying the movie Drive or Blade Runner. And in general, I don't think women would care about either of those things. I used to always talk about like classic Hollywood or, something foreign or something like that. Like I would never, like we talked about in the Knockforce thing, I wouldn't talk about like Spider-Man movies. I try to talk about like movies I know the person is into. I don't understand when people try to like out film dork them. I'm like, you should, if you're talking to someone and you know they're into a certain kind of movie that you are also into, anyway, my advice is like to find a common ground, a common like thing, not just like show how smart you are. That never works and never will. Unless, you can say like, unless you pick something really heady, I guess, but still I would just pick a common. It's easier to talk to someone if you have a shared interest rather than your interest. Austin, do you like the song The Saga Begins Weird Al, which is a parody of American Pie and Phantom Menace? Actually, that's probably the only thing I really like, the Phantom Menace, honestly. Panavision says, would you rather stay at an Airbnb, X-Men Airbnb for a weekend or on the set of Furiosa for 78 days while they shoot a 15-minute action sequence, which is pivotal to understanding the character of Furiosa? The Furiosa one, even though I don't think I get that much time off, but Zane Powers, is John Wayne a good actor? When he wants to be, which is not very often, but I think he has been a good actor, but not always. Sometimes he's just sort of doing the same role over and over again, but I think he's good in The Searchers, he's good in Rio Bravo, he's good in certain things, but he did repeat himself a lot, and I don't think he cared enough to be, or I've heard him be like The Quiet Man. I haven't seen. I've heard he's good enough. I think he is, but he repeated himself too much, so you can get sort of lost in that. Do you think, Nathaniel Vogel, do you think there's been a leak as huge as the recent Disney DVA pilot and pitch book Bible leak? I can't think of one to this degree. I think it's pretty wild, to be honest with you. I was going to talk about, I realized there was something I was talking about at the intro and I forgot. I should write down the intro stuff better. Did you ever watch the Fall Guy show? No, but it's interesting. I'm going to probably watch the Joe Blow video about the show. Because it's funny, everyone's like, original IP. I'm like, well, no, it was based on a show. I semi remember that it was a show, like in syndication, but I never watched it when it was on, I don't think. Unless I did and forgot, which is, I guess could have happened. Nathaniel Vogel, also, did you get any Phantom Menace merch when the film initially came out? The one, I had a bunch of the figures because I really wanted new Star Wars figures and stuff. I had like Darth Maul and a few of those. But I had this job, I think I mentioned it in my Phantom Menace review. I had this, well, we had lightsabers, me and my brother, and we would like attack each other with those. But there was a Jabba the Hutt that had slime in him, and if you pushed him down, like slime would come out of his mouth with like plastic like animals in it and stuff. I still think that was really cool. I don't think Zane Powers, I tried drinking 5 Hour Energy and it gave me a headache, dehydrated, and made me need to pee like crazy. How did you handle it? 5 Hour Energy makes me feel like I'm an insane person. Like it really, I don't love 5 Hour Energy, to be honest with you. All right, let's just do a few more, and I think that is it. This has been we've done an extra long one tonight. Can you explain the Enron controversy? Sandbar is really going for it with the weird questions tonight. Panavision, Brian Taylor said this week that Hellboy will have no AI effects, and it got me thinking, would you rather watch an animated movie in the comic style or a live action one with Sin City style FX, an animated movie? To be honest, but I like the original Sin City, the second one. Same powers as creativity being dead? No, I guess. When was the last time you cried at a movie? Don't know. But I think it's been a bit. John Moore is the director of A Good Day to Die Hard. I don't have. Good Day to Die Hard's okay. I think that's the fourth one. Are you staying in the Garfield Hotel movie suite? Probably not. No, I don't have any single ladies in their 20s sitting your ways 8 hours. I think that's everything. Did I get everybody? Oh, I think I did. All right. That was it. There should be a what was I going to say? There should be a video tomorrow. I hope. Thank you all for watching this past week. Thank you for staying with me. We did a little extra. I think this is maybe. It was the fifth one. Oh, then never mind. Fuck that guy. Thank you for being here, everyone. Thank you for anyone who gave a super chat and all that stuff. Yeah, it's been cool. I thought it was a good show. I thought there was a lot of good stuff. I thought there was some fun jokes and all that stuff. It's always fun doing this with you guys. But yeah, there should be some actually not just shorts, videos. I think it'll be Digital Circus, and I hope Godzilla Kong. Not sure which is first and which is after, but we will see. But anyway, thank you all for being here. Thank you for the super chats. Thank you for being cool. And I will see you all next time, and subscribe if you would like to. What? That's a very round dog on my television right? What? I'm confused. Anyway, have a good night.